first of all, we're going to put as much money in the schools as we can. Second, we're going to put an accountability system where we know exactly how much students are learning in every school. And then we're going to intervene in schools that are trying hard but not getting better, and those schools that are really not improving or that don't match their neighborhood, we're going to replace them. We're going to redevelop them, charter them out, offer the union, as they did in one case, the opportunity to start some new schools, offer new school opportunities to nonprofits and the like, and basically tried to create a whole experimental sector of the district. But at the same time, they said, let's be fair to all the other schools. We shouldn't create new opportunities for some schools on the margins and leave the old schools burdened by the bureaucracy that was pulling it all down. And so they cut the bureaucracy tremendously, put all the money they could into schools, and then realizing that schools need help, they helped create a lot of nonprofit-based assistance organizations that do professional development, assessment, and the like. And then other things they did is they made choice universal. They put a lot of effort into making sure that parents knew the options they had and what was the performance of the school, not only on average, but for kids like yours. And so they tried to build a system that was transparent and wide awake, fast moving, and based on continuous improvement. No small part of the gains that New York got was simply they put more money into the schools. They had a lot of money. The New York central office was notorious. It was like the Pentagon in terms of how much money it was spent there, and they greatly reduced that. And interestingly, they changed the role of the center. Instead of controlling everything, to simply choosing what set of schools we want and how we oversee them. So it's a smaller role, but it's probably more important and more powerful.
And they're probably much closer to the schools because they're actually giving them support.
They have only one job, which is to monitor the schools and to give them help when they need it, to find alternatives when they're not working.
So how many how many are in their portfolio? And do they include any neighborhood schools still?
New York City regards all 1,200 schools as part of the portfolio. And in fact, the schools that are still under the old management system, they have the authority to spend their money differently and hire their staff. One thing they stopped doing in New York was forcing the placement of unconnected senior staff to any school. So the principal and the teachers at a school can actually choose who works there. And that's universal. All the schools get that power. All the schools are held accountable the same way. And all the schools have access to the same sources of help, the nonprofit organizations that can come in and rethink your student assessment and so on. Other thing that New York did for all the schools was create a big data system so every principal and teacher can find her child today, where he or she is, where students like him or her are in the district as a whole, what kind of programs those kids are getting and what works. And it's not as easy as all that, but they get huge amounts of information. That's all the schools. It's just not the ones that are newly chartered or new schools.
So all the schools have control over hiring.
Right.
Do they have control over firing?
They do.
And do they
now,
have,
I have to say,
within their contract?
There is a tenure provision. That's been relaxed to some degree, but interestingly, principals are judged on what they do with their tenure decisions. And if I'm a principal and my school is low performing, but I'm tenuring all my teachers, I'm kind of in trouble. Right. I might get fired. If I'm in a school that's doing well and I'm tenuring all my teachers, assumes I know what I'm doing. But they've made it so that what used to be a decision nobody ever made, you just automatically tenured everybody who wasn't in deep trouble, like in trouble with the law. Now New York has put an incentive on to both invest in new teachers, but also to make some judgments about them.
All right, so we've got hiring and firing.
Right.
And accountability, of course. They'll close you down if you're not performing.
And they'll give you the chance to build a new school and spin off your assistant principal to be a principal in a new place, give you lots of alternatives on the upside as well as on the downside.
And the money is following the child
right.
into the school. So,
yeah.
And they have also control over the program, the textbooks that they purchase. And
they do, and often that's based on an agreement with the district, so it's not free for all. But that's part of the charter or part of the operating agreement.
The contract, all right. So Jim, tell us a little bit about what's going on in Denver. I know that you're not a Denver School Board member or a Denver staff member, but you work with the Colorado Association of School Boards, so you probably have some idea.
Well, and I heard more today, as a matter of fact. A lot of things, I want to just respond to what Paul was talking about, because it isn't just Denver in Colorado. And a lot of the elements that Paul's just talking about, many districts are already doing. You know, teachers, principals make their own hiring and firing decisions, textbook decisions, curricular decisions. That happens in a lot of districts in Colorado right now. I think what's unique about this is it's changing the role of the board and then the central administration to be a little different from where they are now. It's more, the board is saying, what is it that our community really expects our school system to produce in terms of results for different students, and what are the priorities of those results? And then allow the central administration to go find whatever portfolio is necessary to accomplish those results, and then on a regular basis, rigorously monitoring the performance on some kind of consistent measurement basis to say what's going on with this, and then set up some kind of accountability consequences beyond that to say, all right, what are we going to do under different circumstances if they're performing well or not? And that, what we believe in Colorado's School Boards Association is that's the essence of governance for a board anyway. So to me, whether you're accomplishing that kind of role on portfolio management or choosing to run your own schools, it's still the exact same thing from the board's perspective. Denver, I think, is just being a Colorado native, going to Denver schools when I was a kid, my mom teaching in Denver schools, and being around it is like a completely different place as far as I'm concerned. They are probably one of the leading lights at taking money and accountability and clarity and working their tail off to go engage their community and figure out, hey, is this school working for us really or not? Is it producing some kind of results that we expect academically? Not just is it the place that we've gone to all our lives and our grandparents went to, but is it something that's going to be valuable? And then they're taking that and restructuring all kinds of expectations. They've set up a great measurement system that measures at least 50 different indicators about all kinds of different aspects with the school and ranks all the schools according to that. Everyone can see it. I think they call it school performance framework is what they call it. And people can see it online. And then they allow, and the board is requiring their superintendent and their staff, and great superintendent continuity, great board continuity that's making this go, to go create a whole variety of schools. And I think by 2010, they plan to have 37 schools who are like the Denver Art School, the Denver Technology and Science School, things that give people a lot of different choices, whether they're called a charter school or a magnet school or an option school or something new on the scene this last year, innovation, schools of innovation, contract schools. I think we're going to see a whole variety of change in Denver. It's already producing some results. I think for some of the first times in my life, the Denver enrollment has gone up 2,500 students this year, which is pretty amazing.
And that really brings us to parents. And I want to mention our School Choice for Kids website because that tool is for parents, and parents can find that at www.schoolchoiceforkids.org. And parents in this world of choice, and you look at New York City where it's universal choice, means everybody's going to have to choose a school.
Yes.
Right. Parents have to do their homework and find out about these schools. And our website was created to help parents understand and educate parents about the different kinds of choices, like core knowledge schools and Montessori schools and science and technology schools. So that's very important. And school boards have to take, I think, a new role in informing and taking responsibility in informing parents about their schools. And many of them do an excellent job on their school websites, but we'll probably need to do a little bit more down the road as well. Paul, tell me, is it working in New York City?